All right, welcome back to Lovecraft Country Review. We've got the full house in here. Raven is here with her brand new hairdo.
Hey y'all.
People, man, people were really digging last episode, man. They said that we did a good job considering we didn't have our lady on episode explaining a lot of things. Shout out to Miss House coming in pinch hitting for us,
Right.
even though she's in a halfway quarantine now, but we appreciate her.
I'll pass it on.
So before we even get started and talking about this finale, Raven, anything you think about the episodes previous before the final, you know, that we talked about with how women's power and things like that? Let you get yours.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on. It felt like this 10th episode related to the first two, and then everything else in the middle were kind of, you know, anthology episodes that I think could kind of be viewed on their own. I loved the episode with Topsy and Bopsy. That might be me and Tiffany's Halloween costume next week, so stay tuned. For those of you who don't know, Tiffany and I go all out for Halloween, so we're considering embodying those twins for our Halloween costume.
I gotta do a choreographed dance too, though.
Yeah,
go all the way.
Are you gonna go blackface?
Oh,
I haven't decided that yet. One of the actresses
Rules of black people doing blackface.
Am I allowed to do blackface?
I was like, what's the rule of black people doing blackface? I feel like it feels offensive, but I feel like I don't know why.
we stepping into colorism at this point.
Yeah.
We gotta reach out to the dark skinned people, see how they feel.
I feel like it's okay. I mean, Scott, didn't you give me permission to say the N-word?
I did. I
Whoa.
Black card.
Scott, here's the question: did she say it though?
Let's not talk.
I've heard it. I heard it in Fiji.
Okay.
I need to hear that.
Yeah, because Raven
I'm not
swore up and down she would never say it because it's
right. But it's the thing though.
Want to.
And me and
She
Teddy
said
have talked
it didn't
about
sound
this.
right coming out her mouth.
And it's so crazy. Me and Teddy have talked about this privately. When someone says it, if they don't say it like the correct way, like with the real like energy of it, it feels authentic.
Yeah.
It
didn't feel right. It didn't sound right.
It feels like you might as well be a white person. You know, at that point, you be like, hold on, man. Y'all know y'all heard somebody be like, what? Why are you saying that? You don't even sound right saying it. You're not even saying it with gumption.
The way I explained it, it's like seeing a black dude without a mustache. It's like, this is, nah, not really. Nah, not really.
That's so funny because black people cannot do that. And I understand not all black people, but for the most, anytime you cut it, it is like you were immediately called into question. Like something happened. Like there's no way that you could have did that on purpose.
Right.
You're like, no, I want to switch it up.
I find it more acceptable you not having eyebrows than not having a mustache.
I remember I had the Abe Lincoln at one time, and people was like, "Man, just leave the event." We had a party, and I was like, I had a full beard with no mustache. It's like, I don't just leave, man. Roy was like, just leave, man. This ain't even this ain't a good look for you. So no, go ahead, Raven. Go with your
So one question I had, though, I'm not sure if you all covered, was the Shoggoth that saved them at the end of, was it episode 7? Was that George? Was that Uncle George? Did y'all talk about that at all? I just wondered.
What do you mean the shadow? What do you mean?
The Shoggoth.
The one that was protecting.
Yeah, the monster that came in the end that saved Dee in the end of episode 10.
No, I think that's just a black version of the thing that's in general. Like, I think that's just because, like, if you see that it was a white version when I mean, we're talking about going into this episode, and it was a black version, and they're battling. So basically, we can make black monsters, they can make white monsters. That's the
right. No, I know it was a black one, but somebody in one of the many forums I'm on for Lovecraft Country said that if you turned up the volume really loud, the Shoggoth said, "It's me." I didn't hear it. I just didn't know if anybody else had heard that theory.
I haven't. You got me on that one.
How did you even come with like who said who was like, hey, turn this part up. It's got to be on 60 decibels in order for us to be able to make out what they're saying.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't hear it. It's one of the many forums I'm a part of, and people come up with all kind of crazy conspiracy theories.
It's like on the Machiavelli album, if they said if you turn it up at the beginning, they be like, he said, Tupac said, "Should kill me."
Right,
Mhm.
exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. This one of them, like, you remember when you play NBA Jam and they was like, yo, if you get the perfect game and get 12 blocks by the end of the quarter, MJ gonna come out the stands and you get to play as MJ. This is
Yep,
one of them
yep.
sort of situations. No, man. I don't believe it. Someone's got this. Somebody got YouTube clip that for me.
Okay. All right. I think you all covered everything else. I just didn't know anybody else had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I'd never heard of that. I did not. Look, I need to Google that.
I heard it. I read it too, but I was just
Oh,
like,
you did? You heard that too, Teddy?
yeah, but it didn't make sense. It was like, it's me. It's hella people that died. How does it's me
Yeah.
signify? Oh, that's Uncle George.
Yeah. And there were some people that thought it was Hippolyta, but we know now that it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So
They
let's
never,
jump.
but they never really explained where it came from, though.
No, it came from
Right.
his spell. The spell
The
he
spell
did.
that him and
Christine did, and that was the thing that we talked about last time. I think that she's I
it
think that
wasn't.
she's
Was that the one that him and Christine did, or him and Montrose? Him and Montrose did.
right, but she gave him the idea to do it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Montrose.
yeah.
Right. So, but that's what I'm thinking that she did that because she knew that she wanted to get those cops killed. That from the beef with her dude. That's why I thought that she was like, yeah, all you gotta do is do this and this, knowing that was going on, like that I can get them to kill them.
So you think
That'd be a pretty handy pet, much more handy than my dog is. To be honest with you.
No, that's what I thought. I thought it was like a thing of Christine, like basically putting a spell for him to be able to do some of her dirty work.
Okay.
No, that makes sense. Now you couldn't have that, Steve. Now black people.
Well, yeah, because remember how she was when we talked about last week when she came in and was like, oh yeah, I've been waiting for this, for you to get messed up, and that's why I thought that she set that up for her to be, for that giving him the idea to set that up because she knew that he can have the power to be able to make those.
No, Scott was right. No, black people can't have them because then what would the police do? Because we would be calling them. That's what I'm saying. Like there would be nothing that gang shootings would stop.
I think it's a family thing. I think their family is the only one that can do it. If you don't have that bloodline, you can't do it.
Hey, you have to worry about your kid going to a place by yourself. I just take the dog.
Take the dog.
Fine. But y'all go camp in the woods tonight by yourself? Totally fine. Like no problems. Like have a good time.
Going on your first date? Totally fine.
Totally fine. No problems here. Nothing to see here, people.
Let's dive into the finale. Let's go overall thoughts before we dive into it. Let's go with you first, Teddy.
I'm sorry. I just had a. That's why I'm the wrong person to ask this question. Because as soon as Scott said it, I started thinking. I was like, yeah, but then you got niggas like Michael Vick. So now we're gonna be fucking dog fighting hell dogs. And them things ain't.
Hey, look, that'd be big money though too.
What's the problem? They can't die. They can't. There's no winner.
Animal rights activists don't come out for magical creatures. I feel like
the black one killed the white one, right? The black one killed the white one.
You're right. It did.
Also, animal rights activists don't cape for magical creatures. It's like I feel like it falls to the vampire rule. You know what I'm saying? Like no one's out here caping for werewolves and vampires. They're like, yo, is what it is. You know
that would be a great skit for like Key and Peele to make animal rights activists for like like werewolves. That would be hilarious. Okay, I'm my bad. What was the question?
Yeah, your thoughts on the final episode. Just a general thoughts before we dive into it a little bit heavier.
Did I like it? Yes. Did I feel like it was kind of, I don't know, anticlimactic? Kind of yes. Like I don't know. I don't know if I just expected something bigger. I also watched it like at 1 a.m., so I could have just been tired. I don't know if I just expected something bigger than what it was. I just felt like Christine went to, is it Christina or Christine? Christina. I feel like Christina went too, like, I don't know. It went too easy for me. Like the very end part. Like, I understand like all these other puzzle pieces come together and, they work together in order to defeating her. But it didn't feel like much of a fight after, the whole Ruby situation. There was a little Easter egg in there though that I did read that said they kind of let on about Ruby, about when they were riding in the car, because when we first introduced to Ruby, they tried to get her to sing whatever that song that they sang in the car, "Life Is Just a Dream," and she refused to because she hated it.
Oh, wow.
So with her, so if it's a song that she hates, then all of a sudden now, she's singing it cheerily or whatever. So that was kind of like the first, first let on that wasn't really Ruby.
Okay,
So,
I didn't pick up.
Either.
But yeah, man. I mean, I thought it was good. I don't know, man. It was just to me. I think it works well because it's also the story coming out of a book. So the more I looked at it, I felt like the Naruto was a tad bit convenient. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right, Raven.
But other than that, man, I thought it was really good. It definitely closed it. You say what?
No, I was just going across on my thing for people who's next.
Oh yeah. No, I felt other than that, outside of her being like mad convenient, I felt like it was good. It did a good job of closing it up. But now I'm like, is there a season 2? And I was a little not confused, and I'm like, so what happens with D? Her and this robotic arm.
All right, Raven, what you got?
Whew, I mean, there was so much to unpack in that. I'll just kind of give the key takeaway that I got from it was there was a big message in it. I thought that reminded me a lot of Kimberly Jones's video earlier this year. So Hannah created this spell to take magic from white people when she could have done so much more. It wasn't like, let's destroy all the white people, it was just to take their magic. And it just reminded me of Kimberly Jones's statement about, what Black people are looking for is equality, and you should be happy we're not looking for revenge. And there's so much more that Hannah could have done with all of that magic and power that, we kind of want. And so I'm curious to see if there's going to be another season, because it could all just end right here. And if there is another season, what are people going to do with I mean, I have so many other thoughts about the episode, but I mean, we'll probably unpack those. There was a lot. I mean, there were 3 major deaths. I mean, I figured Tick was going to die. And it sounds like he is dead. I think Misha Green said, that character is dead. There might be an opportunity for the actor to come back if there is another season and some flashbacks, but the character Tick is dead. I did not see Ruby's death coming, and I don't even know if I believe that she is dead. And I didn't really see Christina's death coming either. So there were a lot of surprises, a lot of big messages, and I liked it.
All right, Scott.
I have a good idea of how my prom date felt now. Like I was pretty disappointed, like flat out. I mean, there was a lot of unanswered questions. We did this whole thing following Montrose around. We did the Indiana Jones adventure. He was super anti using magic, trying to protect his family against using magic, and then he just wasn't anymore. He's like, hey, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna help you do spells around here, kill some magical creatures. And he never explained why the hell he was out in Artem in the first place. Just other than the story required him to be there. Never explained why he killed the person they rescued from the Indiana Jones style adventure. I mean, another pointer, D's for his hand job with that kung fu grip is going to be a monster for somebody. Like that's terrifying. That's crazy and bananas. Also like why they keep leaving this little girl in the car. Like they just making all the wrong decisions. Also, okay, for real, I have sisters. Like, you just looking like my sister ain't good enough to convince you my sister. Like, spending all that time with somebody who's supposed to be your sister, like you just when you got a family member or sibling, you just talk more familiar to that person. Like there's just all kind of nuances, you know what I'm saying? Just jokes, inside jokes of decades of living each other and knowing each other that you do. Like you could pass on my sister with me for about 5 seconds. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And particularly when you know that your sister's having sex with someone who knows how to change not only genders, but you know what I'm saying, but check body switch with somebody. Wouldn't that be the first you ask? Hey, what was that thing? What was the name of mom's best friend? You know, back in the day, like just no checks and balance on that. Where you can say, hey,
That's a good point.
This body snatching a magician wizard woman, we want you to betray. Like that was, I don't know. I found it to be a little bit weird. And then lastly, I will be less disappointed if they have a season 2, because like was Raven was saying, you know, taking magic away from white people, the magic white people weren't really the problem that was in America right there. You know, like it was the racism. It's like magic white people just wanted to be in, just have more tricks up their sleeve than regular white people did. But it's not like, oh, well, the magic white people are the ones that was causing all the racism. So it's like that seemed like a waste of a magical spell just to say white people can't use magic. Like, how about like white people can't be racist? That seemed like a much more beneficial, more beneficial thing to do in 1965. But blah blah blah.
So, question in order to get the body to become a body double snatcher, whatever, didn't the person have to be killed? Did they have to die, or was old girl?
I thought they had to be dead.
I thought they were still alive in a comatose state.
That's what I was saying. I feel like I remember that from the finale. Was that?
Yeah, but I thought those people were dead. But it's almost like a thing of like you're like a vegetable, basically. You really are dead, though.
Like brain dead.
Brain dead. I think their bodies are still warm.
Yeah, but you're still dead, though. Like, so she knew how to kill her enough that she could take the body. That's why I took it as.
Oh, then Raven's thing would work then. That Ruby's not dead. And then about the sister, maybe the whole thing with the sister was that, and I don't know if they did it, I don't know, great job, that was the whole dissension between them in the first place, right? With the, whatever happened between them and their mom. So Ruby stayed with the mom and Letty was not with them. So there's kind of like this, like we grew up together, but we didn't for real. Like, you know, you always got the best. So I'm not really, I don't want to say attached to you like that. But it was weird. Like their whole relationship was weird. It was like, I love you, I hate you, I love you. Like, you know, I don't care if your man get killed, but I will risk my life. You know what I mean? To go make sure that what y'all talking about, even though I just said it was nonsense, I still believe in it. So.
What do you think, Daryl?
It was just a lot of like they try to wrap up questions. I feel like that weren't like fully answered. Like the whole thing of the paternity of him, and she was basically like, yeah, it was just something we did. Like it must feel like they was like maybe they did explore polyamory, because that's what it felt like. That must have been a polyamorous relationship. I feel like because she was like, it's something we can't explain. We just did kind of this. And it's what it was. So maybe they were in a polyamorous relationship.
Well, I mean, I think they were also bonded by the trauma of Tulsa.
Right, but I mean, like, that's some deep stuff, especially for the 50s. I mean 50s. You're talking about the 20s to be in a polyamorous relationship. People can't even accept that in 2020, let alone in 1920. That'd have been something interesting to kind of explore on a certain different level. And then I feel like, and maybe in the future, like Hippolyta with her thing of like, so how is she involved in this situation with the leaving of the polyamorous relationship? Where does she fit into this situation?
Yeah, that was something I thought was interesting. But it goes back to, it has to be a season 2, right? Because if what Montrose says is true, that you work from episode 10 back to episode 1. None of this stuff makes sense. So Montrose knew he was gay way back in the day. Tick's mother knew Montrose was gay. She had a relationship with George. Maybe George is his father, Tick's father, maybe not. But when Montrose got, like maybe episode 2 or something, when he got, we realized he was still alive, he seemed weirdly angry at George for even bringing up the topic, even though this would be something like you legislated.
We know this.
Yeah, it's like, why you acting like this? Like, I mean, yeah, we talk about it. Like, you don't even like women. Like, so why are we talking about this?
Well,
Yeah,
I thought it was more ownership over Tick, like not, like this is brand new information, but who gets to call him dad and feel some ownership or stronger connection to him is the way I interpret it.
I just kind of feel like there's got to be overlap between him being in a relationship with Tick's mom and Hippolyta. That's why he wasn't all about it. There's got to be some overlap where he can't say like, oh no, I was kind of with this and then got with this.
I don't know. It seemed like a known arrangement to me, and it maybe was even more common than we can accept when homosexuality wasn't accepted back then. I think this arrangement is probably more common than we realize.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that was more like what Raven was said. Like, it was just all a setup. Like, she was his beard, right? Like, she was just kind of covering him up because she cared for him. More than likely, Tick is probably George's son. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was like, it's weird to even say they called into question because at no point do they reference Montrose being in any sort of other relationship with a woman at any point.
No, you're right.
Right. So to me, I'm just like, yeah, that's George's kid. He's doing this. And I guess when you think about it, it has to be Montrose has to play the part of father because, what's the lady's name? Dora? What's his mom's name?
I think it is Dora.
It's Dora.
Yeah, Dora, whatever. She had Tick. So if this is her husband, then there's no other way. We can't pretend, not in the 20s. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Much less to your brother.
You send her upstate or send her to the farm in the country like they used to do in the old days,
And that would have been the old days too for you to be able to send somebody to the country.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that was really kind of throwing me off was the timeline between. Is that Tick's great grandmother that we see, or is that his grandmother we see when he's talking to the woman that escaped the plantation?
Oh, I don't know how many that would be.
I was thinking that he's the fourth generation.
You mean the woman that runs out the fire?
Yeah, I was thinking she's the first generation. He's the fourth.
Yeah, I think in episode 10 they refer to her as two great grandmothers. So great.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking that was him.
Seems like it should be further back than that. I mean, it would have to be sometime in the mid 1800s. All of the stuff that's taking place is happening in the 1950s. Tick was probably born, 1930s?
Yeah. Probably that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be the mid 1800s because they only put 2 or 3 greats on, whatever the first white supremacist wizard was. What's the dude's name?
Oh, you talking about the first Ku Klux Klan member? Ku Klux Klan?
No, the white supremacist wizard, the one they brought back and he cut a chunk of his skin out of.
Oh, the one, the one that was wild.
Titus.
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 Yeah, I mean, so the woman we see that's in this projection, is that the grandmother of Tick's mother, or is that her mother?
I think I don't think Hannah is Dora's mother. I don't know how far removed it is. I would assume, my guess would be that Hannah is Dora's great grandmother or great grandmother.
So who was the lady then? I thought that was her sister.
Which one?
The one that caught on fire.
At the station, that's Hannah.
No, the one I believe Ted is talking about.
In Tulsa?
In Tulsa.
Yeah.
What's her name?
That's Tick's grandmother, I thought. So
I thought that was Tick's great aunt.
Her name was Hattie.
Yeah, I thought Hattie was Tick's great aunt, the sister to his grandmother, the one which was Hannah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's why she was holding on to the book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. that she had the knowledge, though. The knowledge went through her of this book.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said the knowledge went through her. You're saying, Ted.
I'm saying, because did we ever find out how his grandmother passed away?
They never talked about that.
Because I thought she is. I don't know if I like that was mentioned or like somebody said it or something. But I thought
it had to go back to the conversation episode 2 with the women he went to go see when he went down to St. Well, not episode 2. What episodes when he went to St. Louis?
Right. I think that's what I was thinking about. Or when Letty and them went to the Matthews house. I think his name was Matthew. Or the uncle. They were like, maybe that was on the way to St. Louis. But I thought somebody in there said that she ran away, gave the book to Hattie to hide or whatever for blah, blah, blah. So they were staying in the family. But I don't know if they ever mentioned like what actually happened to Hannah.
Okay. That's fair enough. So let's dive into the episode. I mean, we got major deaths. We got did you all feel that Tick was going to die still regardless?
Yeah.
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 Dang, no, y'all didn't have no hope for him to live.
Nah.
No.
Man, black dude in a horror show, some tropes always stick.
Damn. Damn, he wasn't even slinging on the corner and getting killed by Jason. So with Tick's death, how did you all look? Like, was there enough invested into his death for that you felt something, or was it like, man, I knew this, I wasn't even like shocked?
I mean, I think that it was a little convoluted. Like, I felt like they could have just got on with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they having cocktail hour at an orgy. It's like, get to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like this whole, we got to bring Titus back. It's like, you got to bring Titus back. We need a piece of blood. All this stuff we got tied together. Like, you guys share DNA. Like, okay, I get maybe you need a piece of Tick and a piece of Christina, but like, why bring back Titus? It's like you guys are both pieces of Titus. Like you guys are relatives because you're both descendants of Titus. So why do you actually need a chunk of Titus? Like, wouldn't just you being his descendants be good enough? But they had to have this whole weird Naruto threesome, with the tails, and it just seemed a little forced for me. And so I was like, yeah, just get to it,
Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming, but I was still sad. I liked the final connection with the baptism that he and Letty had. I liked his apology to Gia. So there were some redemption. There was some redemption of him in the ways that he annoyed me, before that final scene. But I mean, there were so many premonitions of his death, and I don't know, just kind of knowing Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams and their work, I just didn't see them trying to do a surprise he's going to be saved thing. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I saw it coming, but it still was sad, I guess, to see it happen. And then her slicing open his arms like that and dancing and bathing in his blood. Yeah. Crazy.
Ted, what you got?
I figured he was gonna die. Like, I didn't, because truth be told, the story wasn't really about Tick. So it was more so like Tick was just like I don't know. He was just kind of used as a pointer or a beacon of the story to show like how women evolve, right? Like, Hippolyta turned into motherfucking Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? Like, if there was the most ass that was beat, Hippolyta was doing, right? I don't know. I just, like I said, watching it, like I liked him and Letty together. I liked that whole, like Raven said, that whole redemption scene. Him feeling like it's almost like he was getting closure, right? Like, he knew it. When he talked to Gia, he knew it. And that whole situation was even weird because it was like, we spent all the time in Korea. Nah, I take that back. He did have sex with a monster. She almost killed him. So I can understand his disdain. But it was like Scott said, man, like to weave her into the story just so that it could have like a magical element at the end to beat Christina. Because that's really all it felt like. We was like, yeah, we need some sort. Magic has to beat magic. So we going to get. Nah, I don't know if you can have this, bro. You need to take that to mama. Hey. Nope.
Oh, we about to get a whooping?
Yeah.
No, he did.
Live on TV.
Maybe it's 3. Maybe it's 3. Not at 2. He's still too young. See, they made him mad. I just don't think that they use magic from the east to beat magic from the west.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like to me. So I didn't feel like it was, I didn't feel like it was necessary. Like Scott said, they could have came up with something better.
So you didn't think that was part of her story, part of Gia's story, to be, part of Tick's ending? Because I can't remember whatever I call her a shaman, but the person that Gia went to, who put the curse on her, she had predicted all of this was going to happen. So it seemed like she was supposed to be there. That's the way I interpreted it.
Remember when Nora was at that bar and that white dude ran up on her and she was like, what did she say? Something to the effect like, is having sex with me worth your life or something?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to die to fuck me?
Yeah. Like, what do you think he thought she meant when he said that?
He did the right thing he's supposed to do. No, he bounced out. He was like, this is not even worth it. I'm out. That was the first smartest person that ever dealt with her.
Somebody today would be like, ooh, that sounds like a challenge.
Nah, you say you want to, I don't want to die.
I mean, but do you think he thought she had like a communicable disease or something? Like, what do you think?
He might just thought she was crazy.
Don't matter. You said that to me, period. That means I shouldn't be there.
That's true.
Those are all the indicators I need.
If that's the way to get somebody to leave you alone, I'm going to use that line.
You should, Raven, that should actually be a thing, like, are you willing to die to fuck me?
I like it.
No, don't say that, cause hey.
Oh no, that's a different podcast. We can send out Raven with all suggestions of how to get no's, and then we just have her try them out and see whether or not how they work,
and see how many people still press up.
Yeah.
Hey, you know how many dudes is gonna be like, he was like, I got school loans anyway. It ain't gonna make no difference. He can take it out.
Hey, I'm telling you, the next thing you should try is. I had that same shirt before my transition. Like that right there, I feel like. I feel like that was a back off.
Hey, I'm telling you, dudes don't care. They not gonna care.
That's what I said, Teddy.
What was I gonna say? No, I did. I mean, I felt like it was her story. It seemed convenient. It didn't seem like a natural overlap. It was just,
Yeah,
I know that, the shaman cursed her and but it was weird because her whole thing was like, we didn't even know if she did do this, if she would get free of the curse, right? Because that was the whole point, was that if she slept with 100 dudes, took their souls, the curse was supposed to be lifted. Then it didn't happen with Tick. Now, I don't know if it was like, if she didn't do it, the darkness was going to overtake her, because that's what she said when, she was grabbing Christina. She was like, I have to accept my fate and go into the darkness. But I don't know what that means.
yeah.
Is it, you're going to continue killing people? Like, because that's expected. So it's,
Maybe the curse is now.
You say what?
Maybe the curse is lifted now because she had to take her 100th soul. That's the reason it didn't work with Tick, because she didn't kill him. And now she has.
Well, but before she entered in there, she said, this is my fate. I have to go enter the darkness. So I wouldn't think her getting the curse lifted would be entering the darkness. I thought it was like, I'm just accepting my fate as the 9 tails. Like,
oh, because I thought the shaman said, like, you haven't even entered the darkness yet. So no,
right. The shaman did say that. So I thought that's what she was referencing when she was like, I'm about to go into the darkness. Meaning like, I know what I got to do. I got to take out Christina, and because she was connected to whatever that portal was that was running through Tick in the first place. So
Yeah.
I guess she's still the Nine Tails. The way that I
Mhm.
took it, so nothing really happened except
She's
she
still
killed.
the Kumiho.
You say what?
Still a Kumiho.
Yeah, Naruto.
Naruto. We refer to her as Naruto.
Naruto.
Oh, sorry, I
So
missed.
I say this with trepidation because I don't want to improve white supremacist wizards' plans. But Christina had some options a little bit available to her if all she needed was the descendant's blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, she could have stole Tick's sperm. You know what I'm saying? Like got you know what I'm saying, or found some, a junkie, or somebody on the street, impregnate that person, use a baby, or hell, you know what I'm saying, just have a whole bunch of kids, you know what I'm saying, charge one to the game. I'm just saying that teaching the person who you ultimately plan to murder magic and then expecting them to willingly show up and be like, yo, just so you can get immortality. And also, immortality is the long game. Like, come back next year, the year after.
Yeah.
Rest for time for
She
immortality.
definitely had a better plan.
No,
It didn't have to happen immediately.
bro.
It's immortality.
Hey, no, Scott nailed it. If that was the case, why ain't you just kidnap Letty?
Yeah.
That was his whole seed was sitting in there.
Well, I think that her love for Ruby prevented her from doing anything to Letty.
Even though she killed Ruby.
I think she's ultimately selfish, but she promised Ruby that she wouldn't hurt Letty, and ultimately she didn't.
They're right. You
threw
I
out the window.
didn't hurt you, though. The thing was, I didn't say I wouldn't hurt you. I didn't say I wouldn't hurt
I didn't say I wouldn't kill you, but I won't kill your sister.
And I'm saying, real talk, like, she could, I mean, okay, fine. She was weird. She could have made herself look like any other woman. And whatever, they just like giving tick hand jobs. You know what I'm saying? Just collecting sperm. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying? Just seeding it up, you know what I'm saying? Shooting up the club with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, and seeing what sticks. Like, because all she had to wait is another year or two. And once again, it's immortality. She already has a protection spell on her that basically brought her back to life from being beat like Emmett Till. So it's like, I mean, it wasn't like she was dying or nothing. She was pressed for time. Like, yeah, sure, maybe she would have been 27 forever instead of 25 forever. But who the hell cares? Like,
well, does it make a difference that Tick's blood may have been the closest generation to the purest form of it? Like, would her spell be less likely to work if she's going another generation? Like, if she did try to take it from Tick's son.
Okay, let's say this. So let's say your immortality spell only lasts for 1,000,000 years instead of for real forever. Or you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I just mean the more the blood is diluted, or the further down the bloodline, like, is it going to be potent enough for her to achieve immortality?
So here's a question. How long did she have this plan?
Right. Yeah, because I'm like, everybody else is dead now. So Tick is her. I mean, did she try this before with Dora?
That's what I'm saying. Because if she had this plan from jump, like before, like when her father was alive and all the rest of that stuff.
Right.
She used her brother's blood when her brother got killed.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't her brother, that was her boyfriend.
Brother.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, William is her lover.
That's her. I thought that was her brother. So they look exactly the same. So that we make a reference to incest, because that's a little weird.
No, that was her lover, not her brother. They were.
I thought she said her brother the whole time. I was like, that makes sense to me, because they look.
She said it was her lover.
Brother and lover sound the same. So to me, I'm like, they look alike. They got all the same traits.
Yeah.
Brother makes way more sense than lover to me. I don't even know how you find. Yeah, there are some people that look alike, I guess.
No, a lot of people, like, especially if you're closer to skin complexions, people start thinking y'all look alike.
No,
well, and maybe when he was alive, like, maybe she made him look more like her when she took on form. So
I guess I don't know that blonde hair, blue eyed trait. I don't know. Maybe that was super common then. I don't know.
But she was
a whole lot of white people like that.
Yeah, but she was a bad supervillain to me, though. She was a bad supervillain.
Yeah, because immortality is bullshit anyway. Like, immortality Immortality, looking for immortality, usually like somebody old and super powerful on their deathbed. Like that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like some cat where, Jeff Bezos when he's 97. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, look. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could do it for another 100 years or some shit like that. It's like really like a 25-year-old white woman, what she was worried about was who already cannot be killed. She was worried about, I want to be around for another 2 million years. Like, what the hell? Like, you ain't even done nothing yet. Like,
if I was gonna be immortal, I would rather become immortal when I was young, not when I was old. Like if that's the form I have to live in.
Like, yeah, the 40-year-old like, oh, my knee's bad. I should have done this 20 years.
No, take me back like 10 years ago and make me immortal. I don't want to go from this level of life.
The only way immortality works, and this is the thing with comic books. The only way immortality works is if also you are insanely strong, because the longer you live, the more likely you can get trapped into something you can't get your ass out of. And then you just gonna be stuck, you know what I'm saying, forever. Like the world is just a prison, you know what I'm saying? Like immortality. Like, car accident, something caved on. Yeah, you died and it was painful, but you out of there. Like you around there for the next million years, hoping somebody comes by and get you out. Yeah, that's horrible. You gotta have super strength. You gotta be like the Hulk or something in order to get yourself out of jams. So
like,
that's
like that dude that what's the dude that went mountain climbing and got his hand stuck?
Oh, from 127 hours.
That's what it was, 127 hours.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being like, it was 127 hours is brutal, but it was 127 years.
Hey, you be hungry as a motherfucker.
So, I mean, with the death of Christine, do you think that was justified the way she perished and died with her death?
Like, are you saying like,
Was
I satisfied with the way she got killed?
Yeah, the way they de-killed her, like with the. I guess we could talk about the bionic arm as well, but like where.
Going back to Scat, they should have just left her there. Especially if she was immortal. That's torture, dude. She's carrying.
No, because one of
those. They took her immortality. Though.
No, I know. I'm saying like she's literally trapped. She used to be, high up in wizardry, and now she's 127 pounds, caught under 300 pounds of rubble.
So let her lay there and suffer.
And I would just come back and eat a picnic next to her body, like every day, after
I don't know. I always hate in horror movies when the villain is like left a little bit alive. I'm like, just stomp their face in. Like, don't give anybody an opportunity to come save them. No,
she can't do nothing. All the power gone. White people ain't got no magic.
He's basically saying he's a psychopath, that he would really want to sit there and
like. No, she killed Ruby, bro.
She's still carrying them and call the cops. You know what I'm saying? Like she still has that superpower.
well, or what you do is that's exactly what you do, because now that black people got the power, turn her black and then call the cops.
Yeah.
Turn her into a black man.
That was
yeah. I mean, there were so many other spells Hannah could have cooked up.
She wanted to save the world, man. So magic.
But it's saving the world.
The little girl that kind of force in her arm, though. I'm saying like that's not gonna work out for nobody. She gonna hit that puberty. Her mom will try to tell her to do something, and now you got all kind of problems that come through grip. You know what I'm saying? Like
her mama can shut it down with her wrist though. She got that secret of the ooze in her wrist.
Man, tell me something. I would not want anybody that strong going through puberty in my house.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah. So
yeah.
Do you all think
nobody here? I know that. All the you're gonna go from hair. You're gonna go from Kinks to Raven. Ink.
So do you all think that it was an satisfying ending for this season?
Season, yes. Series, no.
I even think it's a satisfying ending, like for the series. Like, is this just going to be a limited series, like Watchmen?
I don't know. They don't know. They haven't said the interesting in the book, the character of Christine is a man, and because I finished reading the book Monday, and in the book they basically take all his powers and take all white people's powers and drop him off in Indiana.
Drop him off in Indiana.
Indiana. They literally just take him and drop him off in Indiana.
Is this close to Chicago, or they just?
Yeah, no. So the whole thing is in the book is So the whole thing in the book is he's trying to fight another white wizard, but he's doing ill stuff to black people. So it's like a big circle where basically all these white people are doing ill stuff to black people, but he's doing a little bit to be cool with black people because he's connected to Tick. And they basically figure out how to get everybody back. And they basically give him, I guess, suffering. In a lot of words, they basically like have penance on him by figuring out some stuff and letting him still live, but just having no powers and just dropping him off in the middle of Indiana. And that's how the book ends.
Interesting. I think it's a satisfying ending for the season because I was annoyed at some of my questions not being answered, but then I thought, what difference does it make? Like, what did anybody think about Montrose killing the hermaphrodite woman?
Yeah.
Did they not discuss that again? Again, like, what difference does it make? What happened to all the white people that were killed in the street by the Chagas? What difference does it make? Like, is it is it going to change anything in the series? No. So the stuff they wrapped up, I was satisfied with.
Well,
Mr. Green did say that she let that. What'd you say, Scott?
They got a whole litter of those Chagas running around there. I'm telling you, that's, I'm saying, like,
hey, they selling the mugs like backyard breeders.
Look here, man. No. That's what I want to go into. Like, what do you all think that season 2 could look like? Since white people don't have magic, what do you all think a season 2 could look like?
I think it's going to show that like white people still are racist and they still have privilege and power without having magic. So I think it's just going to be kind of a backdrop for more of what we could see from Dee, and maybe like another dimension that Hippolyta goes to, and little George's story.
Yeah, honestly, I'm more interested in season 2 than I was season 1 because now, like what does black people do with this magic? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you gonna change the world? You gonna start teaching it? It's gonna be like X-Men. You gonna start a school for black magicians or something like?
Kinda.
Black Harry Potter.
Not Hogwarts, Howards.
Yeah.
Just Howards, not Hogwarts, Howards. This is a dude named Howard that just figured out people like I started my own school called Howards.
What all does Hippolyta know? You know what I'm saying? Like, what else was in that room? Like, she had the kung fu grip arms, but I heard other stuff going on. And then, like, what else? What kind of technology? She gonna become like Steve Jobs or some shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right. Like,
See, I have an idea. I think that the main villain of the movie will be someone black. Is that the fact that black people will start learning magic, but then everybody ain't gonna be good with it.
Right.
We gonna turn into turbo.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, it's not. Everybody's not gonna be good with it. And I don't know if it's going to be someone from Hippolyta's far-off future galaxy thing that comes back and teaches other people, but I could see it being somebody being like, or even the homeboy that went through all that drama with them at the museum. Maybe he sees Tree. He sees a little bit too much, and he's like, "Oh snap! Okay, well I need to figure this out." I think that's if you're taking the power away from white people, the only way that you make a villain is got to be black at that point, right?
Or they go to another dimension of white people.
I mean, hold on. We're talking about America in the 55. There's tons of white villains.
No. But I'm talking about where it's like real comprehensible of a villain. Like, I mean, we could just keep doing spells and just wipe you out and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Within a certain thing, though. But if it becomes eternal, that becomes a bigger deal. You know what I mean? Like.
But no, but that's one of the things that I think that's one of the things they could touch on because one of the things they said is you had to know the spell, you have to have intention, and you have to make a sacrifice. So a lot of those systemic change spells would require a larger sacrifice, presumably. So so maybe that's a barrier for them doing it. So maybe that they have to get a lot of people to do a major spell because the sacrifice of a lot of people will be a lot smaller. So everybody else, cuts off a finger or some shit instead of, you have to sacrifice or orphanage a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So that would be a way they can go.
Flip.
Plus, they can go down that hallway, that scary hallway in the basement of Letty's house. You can see what's down there.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to go forward though, 80 to the 80s. Go to George Jr. or George, and just go straight to the future, and just make it an 81.
I think, you know, there was some foreshadowing of Dee potentially becoming that black villain. She is vengeful. Um,
Mm.
she's angry. So I don't know. I could see that. What you suggested, was it Scott or Daryl, about, you know, misuse of power. That could be Dee being that person.
Mm. Yeah, I was
Oh,
thinking go
that
to
could
the
be dope.
80s, but go ahead, Ted.
Well, I said that would be dope. That's what I was thinking. Maybe not D, but I was like, well, number one, they had to be okay with black people learning magic, right? Like as a whole, right? So it's
Hmm.
probably not. Maybe the whole goal was just to make it equal. So now y'all can't do magic and we can't do magic either, right?
Hmm.
Or they like, we're gonna completely flip the script and we're gonna start treating white people how white people are treating black people. So we're gonna start using white people for a sacrifice because it's been
Hmm.
happening to us for hundreds of years.
Well, okay. So right now, they're the only people that know about it, right? Letty, Montrose,
Mm-hmm.
Hippolyta, and Dee.
Yeah,
Um,
but
Montrose.
there's different lodges. So if I'm in a lodge in Buffalo, New York, and we can't do magic no more, that could be a villain too of like them trying to figure out how to get it back.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just talking about if we're talking about the black people who know about it and like who's going to do what with it. I could see Dee wanting to do something, Dee and Hippolyta immediately wanting to do something with it, and Letty being a little bit more hesitant, and
Mm-hmm.
Montrose just being Montrose.
Montrose. Yeah,
Also, I'm
Montrose.
I'm here for a spin-off series where Hippolyta jumps from planet to planet, reality to reality, like she's on Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap, Quantum
Like
Leap.
Yeah.
I'm here for that too.
Hmm.
Hey, a black woman on Quantum Leap would be gangster for the
What do you
record.
mean?
Oh, I watch it.
Yeah.
No, like I'm talking about even in general. Like side note, Quantum Leap is a black woman would be gangster.
Hmm.
Yes.
So you all I thought George may have been so do you think there's a situation where you think they're gonna bury him next to George? I was thinking about that too. I had it in my notes like do you all think when they were carrying his body that they're gonna actually show where George is buried at?
Oh,
I hadn't thought of
George.
Yeah, I
When they
don't
were
think. I,
carrying his
I mean,
body, like
I mean, I think they've demonstrated that that's not important. So I just don't. I don't think they're gonna. No, I don't think they would feature that. I did think it was interesting. I listened to the Lovecraft Country HBO podcast after the show,
mhm.
and Journey Smollett and Misha Green said that they actually were carrying his body. Originally, they were supposed to carry some sandbags to make it easier, but they decided that they wanted them to actually carry him and feel the weight, you know, of that character leaving the show.
I mean it makes sense to a certain extent, like I mean probably Scott and Ted know, and Rick, you may know too though, because he's gonna be Kang and coming up in a Marvel movie. So it made sense. Like if you think about it on a bigger sense, like, oh yeah, he's gonna be in 6 movies coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's
has
not
some.
gonna be on this show.
Yeah.
He's gonna die. He's gonna be in 6, 7 Marvel movies coming up for the
Mhm.
next 4 or 5 years. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
dead.
he's booked.
Yeah, he's booked up. So
he's
he just got
booked.
him another gig real quick, you know?
it. He got a promotion. He's like, I'm out, bitches.
Yeah, he's like, use this real quick, sign them dotted lines. Now I'm King.
That's gonna be
So
interesting. Okay.
with him being King,
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be real interesting.
He's
So
gonna be
final
crying there too.
thoughts. What do you all think is gonna be? My 2 questions would be: do you think it's gonna be a new season? Is this the end like Watchmen? And I guess 3. And then what would you like to see in the next season? Ted, you're at the bottom of my screen to the right.
Thanks for the location. You gotta know what that mattered. I don't know, man. Like I don't think it's coming back. To be honest, I think I don't know. It would just be really interesting to see where they would go in season 2. Like my imagination isn't that great anymore. And plus, I don't know. Sometimes I don't like trying to figure it out. I want to be surprised, you know. But I don't. I feel like it's gonna be just like Watchmen, man. I just got this odd feeling. You know, it's a hit. It's gonna be hard to duplicate that again. Because especially because a lot of their source material came from the book, right? So I don't know if there's a Lovecraft Country, you know, a series or whatever. But we all know, like, once you start getting away from source material, stuff can get kind of rocky. I.e., uh, Game of Thrones, right? So
Don't bring that
Chris,
up. Don't bring it
I
up.
hey, no, I can see. I definitely see it on this side. So
Look, all three of us did the Game of Thrones show, though, and we were all just.
yeah. So I
No, don't get
don't
Scott.
see it.
Look at Scott. Scott
I know
is
he
not.
was the first person to start shaking his head. That's what I'm saying. He was just like, "Oh, so hurt." So yeah, no, I don't see it happening.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, so let Raven get the last word.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go next, and then Raven get the last word.
so I hope it comes back. I'm with Ted. I don't think it is going to come back. If it does come back, like I said, I'm down for Hippolyta, Quantum Leap. I'm down for the little girl
D.
being the villain. D being the villain. I'm
So
also down.
are you thinking they should age her up? Like age her up, like we're talking
age
about
her.
like 10, 15 years from now?
Hell, they could age her. They could age her when she's 12, 13. They could age her 20 years, put her in her mid 30s, and now Tick's son is in his 20s. We also moved up to the 70s, and then just started there. And we can see all the things that Hippolyta taught her. How the world has changed, how that version of 1975 or 1980 or whatever year it winds up being is different than what we experienced. Because of the influence of magic or lack thereof from other, communities. So I think they have some options they could go to that would still be interesting and compelling. If it's not necessarily just following the book. I just don't think they'll do it. I mean, I think they can. They probably did this pretty, budget friendly, and you're still having to get J.J. Abrams to commit to another season. Jordan Peele. I don't know if the finances would be there to really do a second season as well as they did this first one. So I'm hopeful, but I don't. Practically speaking, I don't think it'll happen.
All right, go next. I don't think it's gonna be another season just because the way the book ended. When I finished reading the book, it was just like, okay, like, all right, this is kind of finality. Unless you expand off of it and do what you got to do with that. But a Quantum Leap Hippolyta would be super dope. Scott, you own something with that. Like, that is a dope concept of her just jumping from realm to realm, realm to realm. I guess I don't know and understand. Not want to say understand, but thinking about, I guess, going through the future with it. If we do a 20-year gap, that would be the best, I think. You can't come back next week. Like I said, everything's all good and everybody's back at home and it's all good and everybody's just hanging out, having a picnic. And, we need some time in between in general. But I don't know if it could be a second season, though. I don't see, unless you make it an internal struggle or a struggle for the White Wizards trying to get their magic back, then I don't know what you do with that. Maybe I'm just being like short-sighted with it and mentally. Raven?
All right. So Misha Green said that talks with HBO are ongoing right now. Another season has not been renewed yet. But because of the popularity of the show and HBO likes money, and companies are trying to create Black art, I think that there probably will be another season, but I don't think it's going to be a continuation of this story. I think it's going to probably be like Castle Rock or Fargo, where there might be some Easter eggs from this season, but I think I see it being something completely different. But what I would like to see is, Hattie told Letty, don't be afraid of this magic. We've been protecting it for so long, but don't be afraid of it. And that was completely different from the message that Hannah was giving Tick. Letty is the one that's still here. So I would like to see what she does with that magic and what she teaches, little George to do with that magic.
Also, Montrose too. Montrose was having everybody scared of the magic as well, like saying like, no, we can't be doing this. We can't do this.
Yeah.
And there was a shout out to one of our listeners. He was saying that it was interesting that Montrose said that he gave a comment on the YouTube page saying that it's interesting that Montrose said he read everything, but he's dyslexic.
Mm-hmm.
That he remembered everything, but he's dyslexic.
Dyslexic people can read and retain information.
Right, but I'm just saying it was like, you just reading on the go. Like I just read all this on the go because that's the way they were saying like he read on the go, and it is harder retention level though for someone dyslexia.
Yeah, but they can retain information. But okay.
And I mean, if you're fighting existentially for your life against, like that would be a topic you would focus on, right? Like it's not like
Oh, you said if you could focus in on one thing, it'd be that.
Yeah, like you're gonna really lock in and pay attention. Like, yeah, this is probably it.
That's real. That's real. All right, we're gonna wrap it on up. A season of Lovecraft Country. Maybe we'll come back with some other show that just as good. I'd suggest people to watch Gangs of London, which is a phenomenal show.
London?
Gangs of London.
Gangs of London. Okay.
Gangs of London. It is not super deep, but it's just a good action TV show. I just been locked into it. It's only 10 episodes. The finale just dropped last week, but I just got into it, so I'm only episode like 3 or 4.
Chris Rock has done an excellent job on Fargo too.
Yeah, Fargo's good too. Fargo's good too. Fargo's real good too. I'm like 2 or 3 episodes behind on that, but Fargo's real good too. Ted, do you have any suggestions, people, though, as we rock out and finish up?
After finishing that, I'm just trying to lock in on Gangs of London after you told me it was from the director of Raid.
Yeah, did you see? You saw the preview. You saw the preview and everything.
Oh yeah. No, it was fantastic. Choreography.
Yeah. It's an action. Like it's like basically like the Raid every episode.
What is it on?
It's on AMC, but it's AMC. You got to go through the AMC online though because it's in London. It's in the UK, so you can't just get it on AMC. Generally, you got to go to the AMC app.
Okay.
And it's real good. Teddy, where can they hit you up at?
Theodore Simpson the Fourth on Facebook. Yep, that's it.
Lee R. Green.
I don't be answering that stuff though, man. I just like Instagram. I don't even post nothing. I literally just watch everybody else do stuff. I'm complete in observer mode. That's all I do.
Fair enough. Raven, where can they hit you up at?
Instagram, Miss Culture, MSCULTURE.
You can see it spelled at the bottom. It's spelled at the bottom right there. If you can't spell culture, missing culture is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you have dyslexia, you won't be able to retain that either.
Oh no, man, that's not what I was saying. Scott, where can they hit you up at?
Okay, I call you. You call, pick up the phone, call me, text. That's about it.
Oh, okay. He got call and text. That's it. That's all you have for Scott. If you don't have his phone number, you can't get in contact with him and give me reviews. We'll be back with another review sometime. We thank y'all for listening. Appreciate all the love and all the support. And we'll be back soon. Peace.